We have Tedi Ganja finally in the house. What's going on, Tedi?
I'm surviving. It's been crazy. I'm going from meeting to meeting, and I'm like, wait, I have an AMA scheduled. Twitter post, jump on, and it's just like my life is so scheduled now. It's crazy.
You know, and I honestly thought that with everything with Shibnobi, not to jump right in. Obviously, I want to ask you a couple questions, but I know your life is crazy with Shinja and being a part of that beta testing, right? So I was hoping this wouldn't interfere with your schedule and all that. But first of all, I want to show you something.
Sure.
Monday night, I got this. Do you know what it is? It's super
That's a
small.
Shivalingam.
It
That's
is. Yes, it is. So Monday night, I got
My
this.
Shivalingam is going to give your power. I'm going to give you positive energy right now. One Shivalingam to another. Please help Petrovich Entertainment. Keith, just go. He's going to flow with us. It's going to be crazy.
Is this kind of like do we have to like cheers and like tap glasses or
cheers.
tap chivas?
I truly don't know. Like my mom is more religious than I, and she kind of tells me what I do on certain days. So when she found out one of my coworkers gave me a Shivalingam, she's like, you have to pray to the Shivalingam every day. There's so much maintenance you have to do. It's not just a stone that you just leave, you know, it's like touch it, give it prayer, do something. So like, I feel like me bringing it up, I'm doing my part. I'm, you know, being a good Hindu, but you never know. You know, I'm sure there's extremists out there that are like, he shouldn't be handling the Shivalingam like that. He shouldn't be touching it. He should leave it on an altar and pray to it. But like, like the Lord Shiva, which the Shivalingam represents, is just so it's such a what do you call it? Markets well, right? Because the Shivalingam, the Ganja Goons, and Shiva being the Lord of marijuana and alcohol. It's like, okay, so now the Shivalingam's entered my life. Tedi just got it. And then it's like, oh, wait, and it represents Lord Shiva, which is also a ganja god. You know, it's like, this is crazy. So I love the Shivalingam. I'm glad you got one. Where'd you get it?
I just straight up Amazon, man. Nothing crazy. But I will tell you, I got it Monday night, and I was like, let's just give this a whirl. I prayed like crazy with it, right? And I was like, come on, Shibnobi, drop the dojo, swap something. And sure enough, man, you posted about going on with the AMA. So I believe, 100% believe.
I love that. And no, you will notice a change. You know, things that probably wouldn't have worked out before, all of a sudden you start noticing. It's like, hey, why did this start happening? Is it because of this? I don't know. And I love making that relationship. But dude, we're in the 7s. That's pretty good. We were in the 6s.
Yeah, for sure, man. So we hit 5.9 the other night, right? Which was kind of scary. Yeah, right here before that, before obviously the AMA and the live.
Wait, what the heck? That's what I did to the chart.
This is what you specifically did right there to the chart, man.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was actually the news of the sneak peek with Dojo Swap, which looked super clean, man. It looked, and that's what I wanted to ask you real quick is how is that working with that team, with Cliff and the devs?
Oh my God.
And like they seem awesome and they seem cool, obviously, from my point of view, but working with people I know kindly like it could change and you could get a different perspective. How is it working with them?
It is quite interesting because one, I bring a different, you know, knowledge set to the table, and they bring their own knowledge to the table. And it's like putting both of these knowledge bases together and figuring out, okay, are we overlapping in any way? Making sure our tests are different, that we're hitting all scopes of the application. It was really cool. It was so cool that they were that, you know, they're all about togetherness, and they're like, hey, we're about the community. Tedi Ganja's from the community. He has his own team. Let's get, you know, together. And he like brought me up right to the developer table, and it's like, hey, Tedi, boom, you have a shot right now. You tell us what we need to do. And I got to see everything that I wanted. And I'm like, Cliff, these are the things that I would do. And he goes and he does them. And it's like, you're working with a team that adapts. They're able to, I love the Shivalinga Ding Dong.
And I had to
remember the first time I said Shivalingam, dude, the people were like, what did he just say? Shivalinga Ding Dong? But like, regardless, right? Like working with Cliff, working with his team, working with those developers, it was just, and I'm still going to work with them. Cliff talked about a long-term partnership potentially with my offshoring company. So I'm like, ooh, where else can I fit in? Can I test other things? because like testing seems to have gotten a good brand for the Tedi Ganja brand, right? It's like, hey, Tedi signed off on this. He knows architecture. He knows AWS, and that's pretty cool. You know, that I'm glad I'm able to give that type of positiveness to the space where other architects probably don't know. You know, they're so black boxed. You're putting developers into, hey, code whatever you want, code me a Solidity contract, and then you walk away. You're like, okay, well, I paid $1,000 for this. Now I have a contract, and then you realize they don't know anything about crypto. So it's like coming into the space and then like structuring my learning and then building a team around crypto. To a lot of tokens approach me now. You know, it's been crazy. Like this whole Shinja ordeal. Going right up to that AMA. You saw me on the first time I came up on that AMA. Did you know me? Did you know anything about me before you saw me in that AMA?
No, so it's the first time when you were summoned, right? And then you popped in. That was the first time I ever I ever heard of you or saw you speak or anything. And then right from then, man, I started following you. And I mean, you were 100% real. You're not like a moon boy. You just tell it how it is, right? And your Ganja Goons that you have in your community, holy crap, they represent, man. And they hop on this channel a lot. Like Red Sox hops on. Like there's a bunch of them hop on that represent. What's this? John Black as well. I mean, they're just cool. They're awesome people, and they're just totally cool, man.
Because you know the Ganja Goons, we're not degens, right? We're not. I mean, I am a true degen to this day. I will call myself a degen. Started from Rodney's stream as a mod, but like the concept of the Ganja Goon, it's like hey, we're involved in everything. We're the people. We just keep churning. Doesn't matter what other people think. As long as we're making profits, we're taking profits. We're not holding for the long term for every project. There are a few, right? Some people believe in Crows. Some people believe in ETH. Some people believe in Solana. Regardless of what you believe in, the way that I think of the Ganja Goons is like we're all together. We're all in this. Like I'm trying to get a Lambo. You're trying to get something in your life, you know, whether it's generational wealth or whatever it is. But like in the end, I feel like we all are here for the same reason. That's just to work as a gang, right? We're a true gang, Ganja Goons gang, triple G's, roll it up. No, I'm just kidding.
And honestly, dude, it's funny you say that because last year I was the holder, right? Because last year the crypto market was absolutely insane, right? So I would throw like $1,000 in, it would go to 10K. I'm like, I'm gonna be so freaking wealthy. And then the market just dumped. So I had to learn really just how to take profits. And that's kind of what I do now. So when you actually, you might not like this part, what I'm about to say. But when I was listening to when you were on the PLNT, when you first started talking about it, right? I actually got into PLNT, and I want to show you this graph. Let's see.
Wait, did you make money or no?
I did, and I'm glad it saved. But this was actually my. I didn't make a ton of money, right? But this was obviously the night that you were talking, and Awesome Austin and all them were talking about this project. So I actually bought in here, which you can't see. I bought in like right here at the 1.4 mark. Okay. And I was like the 82nd holder or something like that. And then as soon as it hit the 3.0, so I only bought in for like 1.2 BNB. So I didn't ape in. I kind of like chimpanzeed in, right? Like a little baby chimp.
You gooned in. Welcome to the Ganja Goons.
I baby gooned in, right?
Yes.
So I like 1.2 BNB, right? But I sold here like 1.5 BNB. Then I sold another half of BNB here, then another one here, and then 2 BNB here. I ended up making, I think I put in like 560. I pulled out like 1,960 or something. I made like profit $1,350 or something like that. So it's like in one night, 12 hours. And I was sleeping for 8 of those hours, man. I was like, damn.
And I will tell you, I wouldn't sleep on PLNT, guys. There is a reason. I can't tell you everything, but if I'm talking about something, there is a reason. And it's your job to know when to take profits. And literally, it's been crazy because a lot of people either hate me for PLNT. They're like, "Oh, Teddy, you talked about this. I held the bag." I'm like, I never tell you guys to hold the bag. If you have profit margins that you can take the initial investment out. I show it on stream. I go on my live stream. I literally do it. I'm like, at 2x, I'm taking my initial. I don't even care. Care. Whatever happens, happens. That's what I did with even Terra, right? I took my initial profit out on stream.
Yep. And you did that with PLNT. You did it on
Yeah.
stream. You took that. I mean, it was scary because at first people couldn't do it, but then Jason got on, right? Which was way cool.
Yes.
And then you were able to do it, right? So that's
Yes.
that showed a lot for PLNT and kind of their future,
Yes.
right? But how when Cliff or whoever proposed the Dubai trip with you, how cool was that? To be honest with you,
It was
like, how
crazy.
cool was that?
It was crazy. And guys, like Cliff wanted to give me the entire thing. He's like, first class, we're gonna fly you out nonstop. We're gonna do this. I'm like, wait. Like, calm down. Like, I understand.
Calm down, but yes.
No, inside, it's like my life is changing so fast. You know, it's like, hey, I'm beta testing. And now he's like, hey, Teddy, I want you to do an architecture review for me. And now it's like, hey, Teddy, I heard you have resources and they can do this. Can we talk about? And I'm like, wait, whoa. Like, before I even started with Shinja, right? When I came to this AMA, one of the things that people fail to understand is as soon as I got to that AMA, tokens started reaching out to me. They're like, dude, you're a tech guy, you're a guru, you won 2 hackathons, you know. And then I sign NDAs, right? I can talk about the NDA signings. I can't tell you who I've signed them for. And they'd approach me and they'd tell me all these, like, hey, we're dealing with this. And half the time I'm like adapting to like learning the crypto applications, learning what a swap is, learning what an exchange is, what differentiates someone that says they're a quantum blockchain versus when it's just a regular blockchain. What is the difference between a Crow node? What are the different nodes that are? There's so many aspects, and it's like, okay, well, where do I go? You know, and it's just like. I learned all this, you know, about the tokens, and then the Cliff situation happens where it's like, okay, now I'm dealing with X amount of tokens in the back end, and then Cliff brings it on the table. He's like, screw it. Like it's like the Power movie, you know. He slaps his cards on the table, and he's like, well, you know, do you want to go to Dubai? I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, I don't even understand that. I'm just telling you about how we should do DDoS protection, how this should happen. His entire layer, everything he like validated with me. He's like, Teddy, is this how you would do it? I'd be like, this is how I would do it. I would also add this, you know, it was like a constant learning way to bring it. So no matter what, even with the Teddy sign off, there is still a chance that there is a hacker better than me out there that can knock this application off. I don't know which stage that he could knock it off. I feel like I've given them enough hints that they've addressed every layer I've talked about. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes down. I'm assuming it's going to be smooth. We've done everything we're supposed to do when we roll out applications, especially on launch date. So we're adding other servers in there. We're doing everything you're supposed to do. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I love it. The chats are blowing up, dude. You have a lot of people supporting you, man. And it's fun too, right? Like I just started live streaming because I just did videos, right? I would never live stream. And I just started this, I think like last week. And then Monday, I just put the schedule together. I was like, all right, I'm just going to do a morning show and a late show, Monday through Thursday. We'll just see how it goes. And it's crazy how many people tune in and just like, I don't know, start becoming a part of your community, right? Like cool people. We got people from Australia, like all over the world. And it's unbelievable. And then if there's someone out here that ever like hates on you, it's crazy how your community like protects you and then all of a sudden starts, you know, fighting for you pretty much. It's crazy, man. I love doing these lives 100%.
I tell you, I actually I've failed doing YouTube before. You know, I've gone up in ranks. I was getting like views with my gaming channel. I got monetized on my gaming channel, Lively Void. If you ever see that is my account. I jump on it on the tablet. It's the only way. It's the only thing I got left. You know, I'm like, there was this YouTube channel I made, and then I tried podcasting before too. You know, failed on that too. So I'm like, hey, now that I have a channel, what are the things that I've learned in my past so I can grow my channel and exactly become a better brand? But what ended up happening was this wasn't supposed to happen till like 2 years. You know, I was expecting 100. Maybe it was good if I got 100 subs a month, and I felt that was the rate. And then within, I would say, a week and a half of starting my channel, the Sandstorm brought me onto an AMA. Immediately after that AMA, I got onto Rodney's channel, and it's like, boom, my instant, like 1,000 subscribers came in within those 2 weeks. And it's like,
Oh,
I'm adapting
wow.
so fast that it's
Yeah.
just like, and then you're telling me, it's like, yo, my channel's been out, you know, a month and a half as well, and I'm at 3K. I'm like, so what am I doing wrong that you're doing right? And it's like thumbnails. I'm like, I can't do these thumbnails, dude. I can't. It's too much work. The PowerPoint, it's easy. You know, when I go to business meetings, it's all PowerPoint. I'm like, PowerPoint, I know how to use. You make slides, you get the investors all happy.
Right.
They're happy. The tech guy's happy. You know, there's a whole strategy to it. And that's what YouTube feels like now. It's like, okay, so I need to gather an audience, but I can't just stick with one audience. I need to go, I need to hit different avenues. Okay, how do people do that? It's like learning. And then YouTube has I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I literally watched all those YouTube Studio recommended things, and I'm like, okay, so this is okay. Every day you're supposed to stream at the same time. Okay, so that builds a following. Okay. And then you should give them a brand. Oh, and then you should do memberships. I'm like, this feels so weird. They're like telling you they're telling you exactly how to make money on YouTube. But it's like, it feels like you're abusing the system. They're like, hey, here's all the materials you need to be successful. And it's like, okay, so if I stay with just crypto, there's only X amount of audience I can get, and I will max out whatever that max cap is, you know?
How much and I honestly, I didn't know about memberships until I saw your channel. And then you were saying, hey, a new member. I'm like, what's a new member? Like, and then I started researching it. And I'm like, holy crap. There's so many opportunities just within YouTube. It's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Dude, the memberships are cool, right? Because you don't have to, I'm like, don't even donate. Like, because I'm having enough, like, I'm lining up enough, like, hey, Teddy, can we have a technical AMA? Can we do this? Can we do that? You know, so those are promotionals, right? And I'm also working on sponsoring my live streams as well. So I never say like, don't donate, but like, instead of donating, become a member, you know, show your support in that way, because as that gang grows, you know, I've seen it, like literally I'm seeing it. I'll jump onto Rodney's stream. It's like, Ganja Goons, triple G's. I see the triple G's. I see the Ganja Goons. It's crazy. Almost like even here, you know, when we first got on, you see the support, you see that gang really start to form, and it's like, okay, so now what is the things I need to do the right thing? So there's a lot of learning involved too. YouTube is its own like you need some expertise. There is some luck. Like I got very lucky, right? That luck is forever. It's like I don't know what caused that luck. I didn't have the shiva lingam then, so there must have been something else. The shiva lingam only entered recently.
So I was kind of the same way. Like I needed to get into different communities because I'm obviously a big Shibnobi fan, right? I just love the team, the project, and what they stand for, what they do. But I was like, I'm not going to be able just to be known as that guy. I want to maybe try and help people because I lost a lot of money last year, later on last year, and just didn't take profits. So I was like, how do I maybe try and help as many people not lose money and actually take profits instead of what's that saying, hodl all day long, hodl strong all day long. So now on my channel, every time I say, listen, I take profits. This is how I take profits. Obviously do your own research and invest how you guys want. However, but you have to make money in this game. Like if you didn't pull profits from Saitama, like I did not back in November, it's a downward trend for how many months now? And you're not going to be able to make any money. So if you're depending on that money, you're kind of screwed. So I try and tell all my viewers, like, listen, this is where like Plant or the PLNT was my perfect example. Like I took profits here, and you don't need to wipe your whole account. I just take your initial investment out, maybe plus a little bit, and then let the rest ride, right? In case of that 100X or whatever. So that's really, I think, where our community is kind of appreciative of what I do somewhat. And I can kind of connect with them on that level. And it just makes me feel good that I'm able to do something and we have a platform to actually do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely understand. And that is the proper way of taking profits in this DeFi space, because I came with that attitude from centralized exchanges. Like I came from Coinbase, I came from Coinbase Wallet, right? And literally what happens is I watched a video, a guy named Oscar Ramos, and he's the first crypto guy I ever watched. And while watching him, the Saitama Wolfpack came in and they were like, hey, Saitama. And I'm like, what the heck is Saitama? So then I started looking into Saitama. I found Rodney's stream. I found Classy Crypto. Back then, they only had 7K and 8K subs. So,
wow,
just very, very new. Look at them now, right? It's only been 2 months. Look at them now. Oh, it's been more than
Monsters.
2 months. I think it's been like 4 or 5 months since then, but they're just constantly growing. And I'm like, okay, so this is how, the real space of DeFi works. But
Yeah.
what I did was I believed the Saitama Wolf Pack, and I'm like, oh, it's on a dip. I'm gonna buy it at 8s. So I bought it in the 8s, and it went down. I'm like, okay, so now I'm supposed to consolidate price. So I bought it again, and it went down. I'm like, wait a second. Okay, I'm gonna buy it again. Like,
when do I make money?
So I bought it again. And even now, it was in the 15s. And when it was in the 15s, I'm like, the software development life cycle, it has to work. If they have 30 engineers in there, they're all working on the app, Saitama has to work. Like, eventually we're hitting that 1 year mark, version 1's coming out, something has to make it, skyrocket. And then it drops again, it dropped to 12s. And now I'm holding it in the 12s, and I'm like, I bought it at 15, I consolidated all the way down. What do? I need it to pump. I'm going to pray for that team. So Shiva Lingam right here, right now, help the Saitama Wolfpack. We're going to get this. I need this to pump. Like, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be State of Realty coming out. I really don't. But in order to at least get something out of Saitama, I would like it to pump, because I've just been putting in more and more as it goes down,
Is State of Realty, is that still not out, correct? For the last thing I saw, they haven't pushed it out. However, there are like transactions, which Sandstorm brought this up the other night, which I thought was crazy, that there are actually transactions being made as early as today.
Wait, what? Are they just testing it?
I don't know if they're testing. Like,
is it a live pairing? How much ETH?
So let's see. Not a whole lot of ETH, but I mean 0.11 there, 1.3.
Wait, show me the first transaction they did. Was it a buy or a sell? The very first
the one all the way back
it's all the way back here. It was a buy.
On 3.4.
0.10. So they provided liquidity, and then they did a swap of 0.10.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, right?
Yeah, that's how I would read this if I was to guess if they were doing this. So I think they are at a very interesting stage where they need to figure out the price that they need to set for State of Realty. So they need to give the same amount of Saitama as State of Realty and figure out the amount of zero so that price is set correctly. You know, and once that price is set correctly, then the swaps and all that can start. So I think they're in a very testing phase. Maybe they're checking to make sure a bot can't get on there and drain their liquidity somehow. I'm not sure. But if I see these transactions and they're that tiny and, it kind of looks like a rug, like they put something in and it came straight down, that to me sounds like testing, because I've seen that testing myself. And that's what that looks like to me.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of huge buys, right? Or big sells, right? It's just a bunch of little transactions, probably to make sure it's working legit, right?
Yeah.
So all caps,
were they all the same wallets?
No, there were a lot of different ones.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. Maybe they had multiple people in there to test it while they were in. They're like, hey, Max, does it work for you? Russ, does it work for you?
Like, there's a lot. I mean, there's some that are the same, but there's a lot that are different. Like, a lot that are different. But there are a lot of duplicates, right? But I mean, there's a lot of different ones. And this is what I find interesting too.
69D. Okay.
A lot of made up ones. So here's their contract ID. Do you know why it's saying Uniswap version 2 right here?
That's the protocol. That's the protocol they must use in order to exchange. I wonder if they're gonna add Uniswap v3 if they ever. Well, wait, they can't update their contract. It's renounced. So it's always going to be Uniswap v2. Like, this is one of the reasons I believe in PLNT, because Jason, the Solidity coder, he's on the Uniswap v3 protocol. He can code in that. But instead of, he's like, hey, I can code in Uniswap v3, but he's like, but Teddy, the real thing is the cheaper gas fees. That's what's going to sell people. That's where the market is heading. Now he's just like, Teddy, don't even bother with ERC20 tokens anymore. Let's look at BSC. Let's look at Solana. Let's look at Polygon. Let's look at all these other contracts. Even Chainlink. Chainlink now has look. This guy is so adaptive, right? That he can literally pick up code and just learn it, because he spent his time while he was a moderator at Shinja, while he was an EMT, doing those calls. Like, he's like, hey, what else can I learn? So it's pretty cool, and that's one of the reasons for PLNT. I still believe in it. And I think he's going to do everything in his power to list on Dojo Swap. And once it lists on Dojo Swap, I think PLNT is going to pump. And that's when people should take profits. How much that pump is going to be, no one can tell you. You look at when a token gets let's say gets a swap listing. How much does that token pump? So use that historical percentages to figure out what could potentially happen with that Dojo Swap listing, and that's where you figure out, okay, I'm gonna sell it here. I'm gonna sell it here. Yeah.
And one thing I always try and say is always, a single or a double is fine. Don't try and always hit that grand slam. Don't wait for always that 100x, right? Like a 3x, a 4x. That's still good money. Anywhere you go, any way you look at it, that's really good money. When you try and hit that home run, that's when people start selling off like crazy, and then you don't end up getting that single or double. Now you're in the hole, and now you have to wait for another pump somewhere along the line, right?
Right. Wait, so talking about 3x or 2x or whatever x, right? Terra, did you get in on the Terra?
I got in on Terra for sure.
Okay.
However, this is where I know I sold early, man. So I do crypto full time, right? That's all I do is crypto. So I have to pay the mortgage, pay the bills. I got 2 kids, right? So I wish I stayed in Terra, but I got out kind of early, which is super depressing. I think I'm going to get back on this dip though, because it dipped really hard today. I think I'm going to get back in and then just kind of wait it out. But yeah, I sold super early, man. It makes me sick a little bit, but I made money.
Wait, so what do you think, looking at this chart? You think it's going to dip more, or you think it's going to go sideways?
I think it's going to go sideways. I think this is too much of a popular product right now. It's still one of the hottest cryptos, I think. And just with all of the YouTubers and communities that are talking about this project, I think it's going to go sideways up until maybe they announce another exchange or utility or something like that. And then I think it's going to go back up. I don't think it's going to drop too much just because there's so much hype around it. Like, this is really the first big dip this thing's had. These were super small dips right here that were eaten up really fast. So this is the first big dip that we've seen, and I don't think it's going to last. Plus, there's a buyback, I think, at 10,000 holders, right?
Wait, what is there?
I think there's a buyback. I don't know how big. I don't know.
What's a buyback supposed to do? Do you know?
I don't.
Okay.
All I know is the buyback is so I think it's kind of like the Volt buyback where I think Volt, they trade in NFTs, right? And then they use the money for the profits on the NFTs, I believe, to buy back on the dips, right? So I think when it hits 10,000, they buy so much of the coins back. I don't know the specific number of the coins they buy back, but that's what I've heard.
That'll be interesting. That will be we need a Shiva Linga Inu token. I don't know, guys. So this is one of the reasons I am against like a Tedi token or some type. I feel like I want to be the middleman, because the amount of stress that I hear all these tokens have to deal with in order to run, in order to get marketing, in order to get exposure, in order to get audience back to their token, in order to be relevant in this space. It's like, that is such a big headache. That is such a big headache. Do I want to deal with all that and make my own token? Like, not every token's going to lift off. Like, we're one niche community. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we're just one tiny area. It's like not every token's gonna. I would literally be making a pump and dump token. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm like, hey, I like being the middle person. I'm a consultant. You want my services? Come talk to me. Pay me. I'll do whatever you need me to do. But I do have an offshoring group as well. They need to get paid in fiat. So.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having my own token, just because if it dumped, I would feel so horrible that people lost money, and you know what I mean. Like, I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. Let's see. Teddy should create a. Yeah, so we just talked about that. Yeah. I think in one of your last streams, I think it was when I was on there with you, you talked about you're big in the Cronos, VVS, Tectonic, and that whole ecosystem.
Yes.
Do you have the Crypto.com DeFi wallet?
I have the Crypto.com DeFi wallet. I use the DeFi wallet.
Are you staking?
I am staking. I have.
Okay.
I have. I have four. I have the emerald green card.
Nice.
It's a metal card. It's real cool. It's really cool. Like it's this is the problem. If you ever go out to eat with friends and you all whip out your credit cards, you let the hostess choose which one. The metal card always gets picked. No matter where you go, they go, "Ooh, the metal one is shiny." I'm like, no,
no,
why?
not that one.
Why? So now I have like this other fake one. It's not as good. I'm like, all right, I'll win this now. I mean, I won't have to pay, but like, no, but sometimes you just want to get out the metal and be like, yeah, I want her to say my card's good. It's like, no.
This they just kind of toss it on the table, right? And it clinks like cling.
Oh, I do that. And then people get mad because my rings make noise too. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't. There's no winning.
Yep. So so Eddie right here, Eddie, we're called the Crypto Squad. Nothing crazy, no Ganja Goons, right? We're just the Crypto Squad. But yeah, that's what our members are called. Definitely the Crypto Squad. There's a bunch of you guys in here. A lot of Ganja Goons for sure, which I love seeing. Man, they support you like crazy. I love seeing that though. How you go to another channel and your community just follows, right? That's got to be a cool feeling.
I'm slowly adapting to this culture. So Ganja Goons, please stand up. You guys are doing an amazing job representing our gang, and I'm so happy to see the support in every stream I go to. It's like, boom, I hop in there, Tedi Ganja Goons, GGG. It's crazy. It's crazy. It feels nice. I will tell you, it does feel nice. And one of the things that people have been warning me about is, hey, Teddy, when you go to Dubai, people are going to be all over you trying to get like your picture and stuff. I'm like, no. No one's going to know who I am. I'm like, I'm a 2,000 subscriber channel. I'm going to stand there and it'd be like, people are just going to walk by and I'm going to be like, I understand.
That's funny.
My wallet is not as big as that guy.
So what's your next DGen play?
My next DGen play is something I bought last night. Which is Boba Tama. But regardless, I've been going in and out. I've been going in and out of Boba Tama. But let me see. What else was I trying to buy?
I just got into or looked at Boba Tama, and that's why it's on my favorites. I looked at them this morning, actually. I'm actually going to get in this one tonight or tomorrow. I just got to transfer some stuff around. But I love their utility. If they can actually come through with what they say they can do, I honestly think it's going to change the crypto space. I really do, because I think that's what the crypto space needs for security, right?
Yes. No, that's exactly what I believe they're trying to market to us. When it comes to the back end, obviously it's blockchain. Blockchain is a public ledger. You would be able to see every single thing. So how they're hiding that is what intrigues me about Boba Tama, which is why I bought it, because if they're that confident that they have something new that does this anonymous wallet that they're showing at us, then I'm like, okay, let me see. Obviously they're marketing it well where people are getting a following. So I'm gonna ride the profit margins there and pull out whenever I can.
And I just so I'm not that familiar with how they can do that technology, right? But I'm just thinking like if they can somehow do it, it would be amazing. But I don't. It's kind of like a hope and dream right now, right? Just like most projects with utilities, it's just you hope it gets done, right? You hope they can actually come through with what they say they can. So that's why you invest, and you're like, I just don't know if it's going to happen. But if it does, it changes the game forever, right?
Yes. No, if it does change the game forever, because it's like, how the heck are you hiding this? Someone's going to find it, and someone's going to be like, wait, this wallet's connected to this. At some point, I feel like someone's going to know, but it may take forever. They may do so many like movements of money, reusing the same wallets, money's coming from different areas, that it just doesn't make sense to track it. And no one wants to spend that time to track it,
Right.
So I feel like this is one of the things, like an area of the FBI, the crypto FBI, like chat department they opened up. They're going to do all these investigations. They're going to need some type of AI tool or something, because if we have projects like Boba Tama that are coming out with ghost wallets, there's no way this squad is going to be able to keep up. We need them to adapt, we need the FBI. You know what's funny is when I went to one of my AWS conferences, I had just won the hackathon, and they gave me a hackathon sticker on my badge, right? So I go to the bar, I'm like chatting up with a bunch of dudes. It's mostly all dudes there. We're all tech guys, all right? So calm down, calm down. So it's a bunch of dudes, and they see me, and they're like, "Hey, why does your badge? What's that orange sticker? It says hacker." I'm like, "Yeah, I just won the hackathon. I'm a hacker. Like, I do this." And they're like, "Well, we work for the FBI. We shouldn't be talking to you." And I'm like, "What is happening?" And then I'm like, "Wait, do you really work for the FBI?" He's like, "Well, an FBI agent can tell you that we work for the FBI. A CIA agent will never tell you they work for the CIA." I'm like, "I believe you." And I walked away.
Yeah, I'm going this way. You guys go that way. I'm going
this
this
is
way.
not where I want to be right now. And I'm like, I got intrigued. There was a bar. I'm like, there's people. You know, I'm pretty
Check,
friendly
please.
dude, so I was out so fast. I'm like,
yeah,
still don't remember any of their names. I'm like, but I remember that spot. I'm like, never going back.
Have you ever heard of Bitgert?
No, I haven't. But they came into my live stream and they asked me to look into their project as well. You want to look into it?
Yeah, so I get a lot of questions regarding Bitgert. I have no idea what it is, to be honest with you. I don't even know if it's Ethereum based. I don't know what it is. Joe, what is it? If you can drop in the comments if it's Ethereum based or not. I think it's just Bitgert, right?
Okay.
I guess this is it. Yeah, we get it in our chat. I'm assuming it's this.
Oh, Bryce. Okay. Bitgert is Bryce. I've also seen these.
I was hoping that a bunch of screens just didn't pop up like a bad site or something. Block me out. Let's see. Build with Bitgert chain, fastest and lowest fee, secure, scalable blockchain.
The fastest growing blockchain. What does that mean?
Yeah, right. Bitgert's a crypto engineering.
It's a blockchain. It's a technology.
100,000 transactions per second and a near zero transaction fee. Wow.
Okay. Somehow they still need to get liquidity. They still need to get, there's so many things to get an exchange too, because I know Terrarium is very in a fast-paced way in order to get into an exchange, it sounds, right? Like to become the exchange. So it's like, this is crazy. This whole concept, I don't know. I guess that's going to be the new phase of just tokens wanting to become exchanges in this space. First it's swaps, next is exchanges or wallets, whatever you want to call it.
Does this seem to you like everybody or every project is coming out and doing the same exact freaking thing? Like everyone's coming out with a swap, everyone's NFT platform, wallet, exchange, right? Like play to earn games. They're all doing the same crap. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you differentiate which projects are good, right? Versus which ones you're not going to put money in? How do you personally do it?
What do you mean?
So say Shira Inu or whatever comes out and says they're going to do a wallet, a swap, a blockchain. What's going to make Tedi Ganja like, I'm going to be in on this community?
Yes. So this is one of the things. This is why now I'm looking at those utility. Already there's a utility built, or they're so close to a utility that it makes sense. So this is why I'm interested in the CVT. They had their pre-sale today, crypto vault. What's the other one? Pandox project. Have you checked that out?
No, I've heard of it. I just haven't checked that out. Is it Pandox project?
Yeah, I think it's Pando X. It's Pando, PANDOX project.org, I think. Let me see. No. I forget. I will double check. I have it all written down. I'm like, look into these. These are worthwhile. They got utilities. And I'm like, so CVT was one of the ones I told Awesome Austin about. And as soon as I tell him, Crypto Vern comes into the live stream and he's like, because I was with my godson, I was doing all these things at that time. And the whole PLNT thing happened where it dropped and people were like, Teddy, you rugged us. Look what you did. I'm like, bro, I don't understand. I don't understand how this happened. And it ended up being a bad pre-sale wallet. And I'm like, how did this happen? But there's 16 of them. Jason gave us the answer. This is what I'm going to do. it was quite crazy, you know?
Yeah, there's nothing. That's why I try, and it's so hard to recommend projects, right? Especially in that case, because obviously there was a huge shot up with PLNT, but then there's
Yeah.
gonna be a part where people sell off the consolidation period, right? So it depends on when you get in it. Which it worked out perfect for myself. So I thank you. My kids can eat for the day. For but it's so hard for me. So with this crypto vault, I looked into it, right? And I
Yeah.
wanted your thoughts on this. I was going to bring this one up to you. So, and I was trying to ask questions to Crypto Vern, but with his personality, and he was going back and forth with Crypto Realist, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to ask questions because he's just going to tell me to, didn't you see the freaking AMA? I'm like, this is the first time I heard of your damn coin. No, I didn't. But like, for me, it's like if I put Shibnobi in like the crypto vault for 3 years, 5 years, I get probably the reflections on it, right? But I miss out on like the staking part of it. And if Shibnobi blows up like crazy in year 2, I can't pull it out, right? And diversify, right? I have to wait. And if we end up going into like a bear market where things just tank and then it matures, my certificate matures, I'm kind of stuck with a kind of down and out project per se, if that happens, right? Is that true?
I would say that is true. I mean, if you lock away your token and that token drops, then I don't think no matter how many reflections you get on that token, that's going to do anything.
Right.
To bring up that value, and you're just going to be losing value. So you have to invest in tokens you believe. So this is why I brought up, like, how do you make money as a crypto vault? And they're like, then you invest in crypto vault. You know, it's going to have reflections. More people are going to invest in that. They're going to lock away the crypto vault CVT token. And then we have all these other pairings because Crypto Burn sent me $150 worth of BNB locked away for a year. And I'm like, this happened so seamlessly, you know, like it was, the thing is there. But then what didn't make sense was if the utility is already there, how are you going to integrate the token? And that was answered. I'm like, okay, now I understand it's all coming together. So that's exactly why I'm like CVT. I understand. And that's why I was watching Crypto Realist's live stream in the morning. And while watching the live stream, he starts talking about crypto vault, and I'm like, okay, now Jeremy's talking about it, and he's like, you know, this could very well blah blah, and it was at 1,000. So in this morning, it was at 1,000 BNB and had 1,000 left, and it was like every hour I was looking at. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy 2 more BNB. So I got to 5 BNB with crypto vault, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold this. We'll see what happens. And then after the AMA, I jumped on their AMA. Did you watch that?
I did. So I was going to do that, but I was out and about all day. I wish I would have, because I had so many questions, right? And I should have watched the AMA, but I didn't. And I missed out on the pre-sale, which I can't believe I did. But it is what it is. I'm going to try and get it when it launches, right? But yeah, man, I just had a lot of questions, like, and the AMA, I'm sure, is going to cover all that stuff. But it sounds like a lot of. So what I told my community was, so even if I do have questions, right, it's still probably a good project because you're going to get a lot of, like, Rodney already posted about it, you posted, Crypto Realist posted about it. So when you get community members that have a platform and then their communities hear it, that's what really sets these different projects off. And now everyone's going to be talking about Crypto Vault, right? So there's going to be thousands upon thousands of people now looking forward to this launch and trying to get in. And that's what's really going to make this a different project than most other projects, right? Kind of like the PLNT effect, where you started talking about it, Rodney started, Awesome Austin got in, Crypto Real, like all these people started getting into it. And a lot of projects are not like that. And they just kind of shoot up a little bit and then fizzle out, where our communities come together and really start backing projects. And it kind of there's a steady growth to it. You know what I mean?
Right. But this is, you know, similar to my YouTube audience following. We are going to hit a level where the amount of people in our communities can no longer grow. You know, we've tapped out. What do you do at that point? You can't just keep going back to your audience and say, hey, invest in this token. At some point, they're going to be like, dude, you're a shithead. I ain't gonna
Yep.
follow you, you
Right.
know. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, now I got to rethink this, which is why it's like I've done this thinking, and I'm like, utility first.
Yep.
Let me see it. Does it function? Okay, take profits, pull out. Then once I have my initial investment back and some profits, I'm like, okay, hands off.
Yep.
But if I put, then we have to talk about a bad investment, right? A bad investment.
Yep.
You put in, very similar to me and Saitama, you're
Yep, me too.
constantly doing dollar cost average and always trying to consolidate, your average price. And it's like, no matter what I do, it goes down. And that was a bad investment. I'm hoping one day it'll turn over and I'll be wrong. But
right.
just because I do that, this is what, I've heard this mentality. It's like, no, I only believe in Saitama, or I only believe in this token. I would just keep buying the token, no matter how down it gets, because you have this dream that it's going to 10x, it's going to 100x. And it's like, bro, even if you run the numbers, like, I'm not a math wizard, but I believe in other analysts. I watch other content and I'm like, well, these guys are saying there's no way it can be a 2x or it can be a 3x,
right.
So it's like, you have to understand those profit margins. And I just feel so bad when that happens.
And honestly, at some point, you run out of money buying the dip. Like,
yes.
Everyone's telling me buy the dip. I ran out of money on Saitama. Like, I can't buy the dip anymore. I bought the dip like 30 times. I can't do it anymore, right?
Yes.
But it's like, is it ever? So for me, when I look at projects, I look at just a couple different things. Now, I'm not like a technical analyst part. I don't look at the charts, and I don't do any of that, right? I'm not like crypto realist where he digs into the contracts and stuff. I look at the team that's actually behind the company or project, what the utility does, and can I see a benefit in the crypto world that not a lot of companies are doing, that a lot of people can actually implement and or get behind.
Right.
And the community. For me, the community is huge, because if you have a toxic community, I don't want to invest in that, and that's going to shy away other investors. So I want a good community that if you ask a question, they'll answer you, and they'll show you a video. Go check this out, because that is going to draw in investors. So I always pretend like I'm this multi-millionaire, and I'll ask a question to the community. So I did this. I asked a question in Saitama's community, just about like, do we know when this was going to happen? Because we were told it was supposed to happen and it didn't. And I was literally told, you need to sell all your tokens and get the hell out of the project. I was like, okay, well, if I was in charge of a Discord with 10,000 people, then I was in charge of millions of dollars. Do you think there's any way in hell I'm going to steer them towards that kind of project?
No.
Or I did the same thing with Shinobi. I said, look, this was supposed to happen. And like, Cliff addressed this in his AMA. He said there was a holdup here, but he's trying to release it on this date. Here's the AMA video that if you want to check Cliff saying it, go ahead. Here it is. I'm like, that's just a different. So that's kind of what I look at, all in a nutshell, when I look at projects. And for me, Shinobi checked all those boxes. And a lot of other projects do too, right? So that's just kind of what I look for. And it's worked out a little bit. I'm waiting for Shinobi to come out with this dojo swap, right? And I'm hoping it works really, really well, because it looks freaking awesome. But I know everyone's like, is it going to burn 3 zeros? Like, I'm like, listen, I know we can get through this 1-0, right? I hate doing price predictions, but I'm like, this 1-0 that we've already gotten back and forth on, it's super easy, I think. But the second and third, they're going to be tough. You need a lot of money in order to do that, which a lot of people don't understand. But what do you kind of look for when you invest in tokens? Do you invest on just what you think it's going to do, or how do you look at a token and kind of analyze it?
Well, now I'm looking straight for utility, whether they have a utility or not. So I sent you that link for Pando project. There was no X. It's Pando, Pando, Project.
Did you send it in?
I sent it in the private chat in StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
So it's all about utility for me. It's like, hey, does this token have utility? Does this utility make sense? Which is why when Terrarium came out and they told me their utility is an exchange, And it's like it was different. No other token out there said exchange, and they may have, but it wasn't in my network. It wasn't in my audience, right? I hadn't seen other tokens talk about it, so I'm like, oh, okay, Terrarium wants to do this utility, and then they're like, we apply for the certificate, and we did this, and I'm like, whoa, they've already done all the things that you're supposed to do, or what we deem you're supposed to do, you know? And really what's happened is Saitama is the one that set the pathway, or maybe it wasn't, maybe it was Shiba. Regardless, there is a path, and people are following this like so-called path. You know, it's like, hey, you need to do this, then you get a certificate, then you do NFT, whatever it may be, there is a path. And it's like Terrarium came out and they're like, screw all this. We're actually gonna be an exchange. We're gonna do all the things that are required to do an exchange, and we have Dr. Praveen. To this day, I'm like, Dr. Praveen, Dr. Praveen, Dr. Praveen. They have Dr. Praveen, you know, and he's like, okay, so Dr. Praveen is a whale. And he's like, I held through Saitama. I'm like, okay, well, now let's listen closer because I follow the money. And it's what I've been trying to get into. It's like, dude, why did this guy buy into this? There is a reason he believes, you know, if someone comes in, I don't care. I don't care at times what happens with this project. But if there's other beliefs in it, you know, and there are whales of this size, and sometimes whales are wrong, you know, they get duped, right? But usually a whale that has that kind of money is a smart guy. There's a reason he has that. Like, maybe he got lucky, but the ones that get lucky, they leave. They don't stick around. They don't continue to invest. That's the type of thing I look for, right? So that's why I'm like, okay, Terra makes sense. Shinja, it was all thanks to the Shinja army. You know, I just randomly got lucky. But then I'm like, okay, well, not every project is just going to come out and be like, hey, here I am, come invest in me. So it's like, how do I do this research? So then I'm like, okay, so I'm going to start looking at tokens that have a following already built. People are, you know, talking about this token. And that's what I've been doing. I'm like, okay, so let me go check out Boba Tama. Someone said it in my live stream, and after the live stream ended, I'm like, boom, 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 go look at Boba Tama. And I'm like, okay, this is starting to make sense. I can understand how I can take profits from this. I understand the ghost wallet thing, the concept they're trying to do. And it was a utility that they're like, hey, we're getting there, right? So now Pando project. So the reason I keep bringing up Pando project is these guys have a very interesting concept called Ramatron, Metatron. Really what the concept is sharing bandwidth. So you've heard of Helium network, right? Like the Helium network, you get a node, you can do lo-fi, you can do Wi-Fi, and you just make tokens. You mine tokens, you get tokens. So very similar to this, they have bandwidth. You become a Ramatron. You share your bandwidth, only your bandwidth. We're not looking through your files. We're not looking through anything you have on your computer. They've already built the utility. They're like, hey, you can start doing Ramatron. You can become a Ramatron node, which as long as you have a computer, there's a few spec requirements. Once you become a node, you'll start earning our PTX, which is their token. And I'm like, okay, well, I've never heard about this. This has not been in my circle. So I'm like, let me go investigate. So talk to those guys. I'm like, hey guys, like, came across your project. Well, you know, can you tell me more? And if you scroll down, you're like, they built an entire like offices globally. They've done everything. They're literally getting to the point that they want to roll out the utility. They already have the Ramatron built. You can download it right now. They have offices across the world, and it's like, wait a second, why is this project now sounding better than projects that don't have anything, that are trying to get that? Really what it is crowdfunding. Projects that are crowdfunding, right? It's like these guys didn't need to crowdfund. They already had whales that had money invested in it well before, you know, they even came out. So here's the roadmap. They started in 2018. And now they have 160,000. They're bringing crypto into it. It's crazy. It takes $53 to run a node. So I've completely investigated into these guys. I'm like, okay. And then they actually reached back out and they're like, hey, Teddy, do you want to do a video on this? And I'm like, well, I just thought, you know, you wouldn't even like come out and say anything. And now you're asking me to do a video. I'm like, bro, I charge for a video. Boom, you know, throw it at them. And they're like, yes, we will pay. I'm like, okay. This is great. But look at this. They have an entire team. And
this is
keep scrolling down. This guy right here, John Crispala. He reached out to me and he's like, hey, we're gonna make this work, Teddy. I believe in you. I want you to be the one because you understand the tech behind this, what it takes to do this. And then I'm like, oh, okay. 1 second. I just got a quick message I need to address.
Yeah, I see a lot of comments real quick that I'm not answering some questions. Yeah, we're just kind of just bouncing off each other. So I apologize for that. I know you want us to look into Lily and some other questions, but we were just kind of just rolling and just talking to each other, to be honest with you. But if you guys have some questions, just dump them down real quick and repost them instead of me going through the whole thing. But yeah, we were just kind of just saying our own personal strategies and stuff like that on what we look for. But if you need a question answered, just go ahead and retype it, and then we'll just get to it real quick. But Teddy, do these guys have their project already where you can buy tokens, or are they still coming out with it?
They are in private pre-sale right now.
Oh wow!
And they're literally. I'm sorry. So I do have to go, I guess, in like 5 minutes. I just got called into something, but that's
no,
fine.
You're good, man.
But that's 5 minutes. I still got time. So these guys are in private pre-sale, and they're literally going to roll out the pre-sale publicly, and you'll be able to buy PTX at that point. But if you can't wait, right? If they already got the utility, they already got the token. You can become a Ramatron node, activate your Ramatron, and just start earning PTX as you wait. Because in the end, they have the utility, 160,000 nodes, offices across the world, right? And their goal is to share bandwidth, have services streamed through community sharing internet. So you have, what's this guy? Elon Musk, right? Also doing was it SolarWinds or something, where he gives everyone internet, then you share bandwidth across. It's like, wait a second, I can make money just sharing my own bandwidth, no loss in performance. Why wouldn't I do this?
Oh wow, yeah, it's something I'm going to look into for sure. Yeah, they have offices a lot of places, right? Holy cow!
I'm definitely gonna make a video on these guys. So since John approached me, so I will try and get into it. I'll try to give as much detail as I can, but they came into my radar. So you're talking about degen plays, you're talking about how I choose investments. This is like, well, these guys approached me and they're like, hey, and I'm super like, hey, are these guys trying to rug me? Are they trying to make me promote something?
Right.
And then they pull and they walk away. No, they actually have the Ramatron node. So you can go to let's see, Get Now. You see Get Now on the top. This opens up the Explorer and then the download portion, and you'll see on the left for the Pando network node, you can download a node, and there's a guide to activate it, guide to activating the Metatron or whatever it may be, right?
Holy cow.
So
if I just click this,
you will download the software, and you will be sharing bandwidth and earning PTX, which is a working model. So you can see on their homepage how many nodes they have. This is all a working model they got to because they launched in 2018. This isn't a project where, hey, we're going to launch now, we're going to come up with something. They were like, hey, we launched many moons ago, and now we have everything set that we feel like we should come out to the world. And I don't know why they landed on my radar. It's like, why me? John, why me? Why did you reach out to me, bro? It's like you start to wonder, and you're like, this sounds too good to be true. I'm eating this all up, and I feel like,
And this is kind of what you're going to start seeing a lot, right? As far as people or companies coming out with their utility first and then doing a launch, right? I'm starting to see this. I think Crypto Vault's the same way. They already have their project, right?
Exactly.
Or their utility, and now they're doing their launch. I think that's super, super smart, to be honest with you. There's not that waiting game and the hoping game, right? It kind of alleviates all that stuff.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why I'm like utility first. Now I'm going to look, how close are they to that roadmap? How close are they to being done? Because I'm done with crowdsourcing other tokens to succeed. If a token wants to come out now, I'm going to be like, hey, throw up some money. Maybe if that means, hey, I need to put my house on so I can make a Tedi token, then that's what that means, because I should be doing that investment because that's the belief that I have. But when you go to a community and you're like, hey, guys, rally up the money. I got an idea. Let's do it. I'm like, no. I'm done. I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. I can't go with your belief. I can't go with your thing and watch my token's price just constantly going down because I believed in something that never existed, So
listen, I know you got to jam. Yeah, I know you got a jam, man.
I literally got called in. It seems like there's something going on, not dojo swap, something else with the offshore team. Sometimes
no, I definitely appreciate your
calls
time,
out
dude.
and people go crazy.
You're good. Everyone, thanks for joining in. Teddy, I really appreciate it, man. You're awesome. Thank you for the Ganja Goons for sure. And we're going to do this again some other time. Yep, I got my little... but yeah. No, appreciate you, Teddy.
Yes.
Go to work, man. Do what you do. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. See you guys.
All right, guys. Till next time. Thank you.
See you guys. Bye.